Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is M.Adli and I am from IK28 Bioprocess Engineering, and today I'll be presenting about my internship. I am currently undergoing my internship at Top Glove Factory 24. I am reporting to Ms. Nur Khalida and also Ms. Sharmin. In Top Glove Factory 24, I am undergoing my internship at IETS department. IETS stands for Industrial Effluent Treatment System. So, two of the main job scopes of IETS department is, one, they are in charge of supplying fresh water to the production line, and they are also in charge of treating the wastewater produced from the production line. So for the fresh water supply, IETS has 5 water sources, which includes tube well, 3R, JBA, or also known as tap water, pond, and also rainwater. I will briefly talk about the wastewater treatment here in IETS in Top Glove Factory 24. There are 3 chemicals being used in the wastewater treatment. The first one is a coagulant, the second one is a flocculant or a polymer, and the third one is a caustic soda. The first step of the wastewater treatment is the collection of the raw wastewater in the collection pit. This is done to regulate the wastewater flow rate. And the second step is the mixing of chemicals inside of the chemical mixing tank. There are two chemicals being mixed inside the chemical mixing tank. The first one is a flocculant or a polymer. The polymer's function is to bind the flocks that have been coagulated by the coagulant inside the collection pit, so that the size of the flocks become bigger. And the second one is caustic soda. Caustic soda is used to adjust the pH of the wastewater so that the chemicals can function properly. And the third step is the clarifier. When the wastewater goes to the clarifier, the flocks inside the wastewater will be separated, and the wastewater will continue to go to the aeration tank. And after the aeration tank, the wastewater goes to a buffer tank. The buffer tank's function is to regulate the wastewater flow rate before the activated carbon filter. Inside the activated carbon filter, the carbon filter will filter all the unwanted materials inside the wastewater, such as organics, and after the filtration process is done, the wastewater is finally discharged into the drain. Next, I will be talking about the activities that I carry out here during my internship. The first one is I have to conduct a production line water usage audit. The purpose of this audit is to monitor the water usage of each production line in the process of manufacturing gloves. We have to carry out this audit in order to determine the optimum supply of water to the production line so that we can avoid wastage. What I have to do is I have to measure the water flow rate of all of the water outlets in some of the tanks inside the production line, and I also have to monitor the temperature of the water source. And the second one is I also need to conduct TSS test on tube well water. TSS stands for total suspended solid, and tube well water is also being supplied to the production line. We need to monitor any presence of suspended solid inside the tube well water, as the presence of high TSS count can lead to the formation of sludges inside the tanks in the production line. And the third activity that I usually carry out here is recording the analog flow meters in the production line. The analog flow meters indicate the usage of GBA water, or also known as tap water. There are 5 total analog flow meters inside the production line, and I have to record the readings of every single analog flow meter. And the fourth activity that I usually do is final discharge sampling. As I have said earlier, in the wastewater treatment, the final step of the wastewater treatment is final discharge, in which the treated water goes to the drain, and what I have to do is I have to test the water for COD, chemical oxygen demand, TDS, total dissolved solid, the pH, and also temperature. I have to measure all these parameters and see whether these parameters comply with standard P set by DOE. To measure the pH, I use a pH meter. To measure the TDS, total dissolved solid, I use a TDS meter. To measure the temperature of the water source, I also use the TDS meter, in which it can both read TDS and also the temperature. To measure the COD of the final discharge, I use a COD cell test kit, in which 3 mm of the final discharge is taken and mixed with the COD cell test. The COD cell test is then heated for 2 hours. After the After the heating process, the COD is measured using a spectrophotometer. To measure the total suspended solid of the sample, I use a special set of equipment and a glass filter paper. I've also been assigned by my supervisor to carry out multiple projects, and the first one is I have to conduct a trial run for a screw press. Screw press is a device used to separate water from sludge, and what I have to monitor is the efficiency of the screw press in removing water from the sludge, and I have to also monitor the moisture content after the sludge processing is done, and I have to also monitor the process time, in which the time taken for the screw press to filter the water from the sludge. And the next one is I have also need to conduct a trial run on AFM. AFM is an activated filter media. Activated filter media is a type of filter media that can be used to substitute sand filter, and I have to investigate whether AFM is good enough in improving the wastewater treatment.